Welcome back to another edition of the GuerrerosAzteca podcast, a podcast where we talk about the Liga MX and everything going on around the football Mexicano. So, gentlemen, I might sound a little bit different, probably a lot different, and that's because I'm not recording this in my usual setup with my usual microphone. I'm actually recording this while I'm driving. Yes, you heard it right, while I'm driving. Don't worry, I got both hands on the wheel, kinda. No, man, but yeah, I a couple of months ago, actually, it's been a while, I bought a lavalier microphone so I can record while I drive, record more podcasts while I drive. I realized that, I drive a lot throughout the day. It's 20 minutes to my college campus and then 20 minutes back home. So it's like, and I do that multiple times. So it's like over an hour that I spend driving a day almost, or exactly an hour. Sometimes it depends on traffic. But instead of just wasting time listening to podcasts or music, why not record a podcast here and there with this lavalier microphone? So I know that the quality isn't the best and isn't the same as my usual, commentaries and podcasts and stuff like that. But hopefully, at least it's somewhat bearable and you can at least hear me and understand me, which I'm sure you can. So. Anyways, man, yeah, we have some interesting stuff to talk about. Chivas loses yet again, and they're in more trouble than ever. Honestly, like that's not even an overstatement. Chivas is in more trouble than ever. I'm not trying to sound, be what's the proper word? Exaggerated. I don't want to exaggerate or blow things up out of proportion. But if you don't start now, if they don't realize how much in trouble they are now, then they're never going to realize it. You're last in the relegation table. I mean, the threat is real, and are they ever going to wake up? Are they ever going to realize it? They're talking in the preseason about, making it to the Liguilla, about fighting for the title. That America is not going to win it again. Jorge Vergara, the Chivas owner, actually said that America wouldn't be bicampeón, wouldn't win it again, and that Chivas was going to be a serious contender to the title. Now, it's still too early. It's after 1 week. They lost to Chiapas, and it's still too early to say Chivas for sure is going to be relegated and they're not going to fight for the title. Hey, what if they win every single game after this? That's not probable, but you can't just say it's over. They still have something to fight for. But instead of the problem, anyways, man, the problem here is that they don't realize what they're actually fighting for. They don't have to be fighting for the title. That's not what you have to do right now if you're Chivas. Forget about the title right now. Forget about the Liguilla. Just fight for your life. Literally, you're gonna be relegated if these players don't realize it. The owner, like, he speaks like that Chivas is going to be a real contender to the title, and it's like that's not what you even have to be focused in. Now obviously, if you're a contender and if you're up there fighting for the title, then you probably won't be relegated. You probably will save yourself. But you don't hear Querétaro. No, I mean, not Querétaro. You don't hear Veracruz, talking like that. Like, we're going to be serious contenders. You don't hear UDG, Leones Negros. You don't hear Puebla. You don't hear those teams in there talking like they're going to be serious contenders. They know what they have to do. They know their main task, and that is stay in first division. That is save your ass from relegation. That's their primary goal, and they're not focused on anything else. If they qualify to the Liguilla, by qualifying to the Liguilla, that doesn't mean that you're not going to get relegated. The chances are slim, but I think one season Querétaro got relegated, but they actually qualified to the Liguilla. So, they qualified as an 8th seed, I think. They were the last place, 8th seed to the Liguilla. And I think, if you get relegated and you qualify, you can't play the Liguilla. The 9th team would actually take over or fill that spot. So, anyways, man, Chivas just needs to know what they're fighting for, what this actually means. And it sounds dumb, like, oh, of course these players know what relegation means. Of course they know they're in trouble, but do they really? Because they sure as hell don't play like it. I mean, what would be infuriating to me if I was a Chivas fan? would be that you see players jogging, and then you see the stupid things like Chaton Enriquez posting on Instagram, and it's little stuff like that. But that would infuriate me if I was a Chivas fan, because like, dude, like the team, you're sinking it with your poor performances week after week, and you know, you're over here on Instagram posting, you know, dumb stuff, inappropriate stuff, you know, getting yourself, you know, suspended from the club. You know, the club did that to himself. He's gonna get fined. I don't know if suspended or not by the club itself, but it's just dumb, man. Like you see how Veracruz plays. I watched the Veracruz versus Santos match, and you watch that team play, and they know what they're fighting for. Their players know what they're fighting for, and although they're not brilliant on the pitch, they're not, you know, they're not playing beautiful football. They're not generating tons of chances, but they know that every chance counts, and they know that they have to fight for each and every ball, man. They know what they're playing for. Same thing goes for Puebla. You know, you saw, I heard on Fox Deportes, and they said it perfectly. You know, you look at the Chivas players and you see them, you know, here and there jogging, not playing with tons of intensity. You know, playing like they still have a lot of time, and that, you know, this isn't a sinking ship. Yes, it is. It's a sinking ship. But then you look at the Puebla players, and you have a player like Mauricio Romero, El Pampas Romero. You have him, you know, fighting for a ball. He dove head first towards a ball, you know. Those are the types of things. He didn't care if he got kicked in the face, in the head, whatever. He dove head first at a ball. Like, these dudes know what they're playing for. The Puebla players, the Veracruz players, the UDG players. The same thing with UDG. They defeated Monterrey 1-0. It wasn't brilliant. They didn't play that good, and the game was kind of boring, to be honest with you, but they know what they're playing for. Their players chase after every ball. That's not the case with Chivas. You can't say the same thing for Chivas. So that's one thing that would really, really get to me if I was a Chivas fan. But anyways, if any Chivas fans are listening, maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, and let me know what you think in the comments down below, man. What's happening with Chivas? I was gonna ask a stupid question like, are you upset at the situation? Well, duh. I answered my own dumb question. Duh, you're upset at the situation. I don't even have to ask you that. My father is a Chivas fan, and it honestly like breaks your heart almost. You know, like he threw on his Chivas shirt, his Chivas cap, you know, ready to watch the game against Chiapas, the first game, you know, of the tournament. The Liga MX is back. He's hyped. And then, you know, they put up those performances, and like that, like I watched that, and I didn't even make fun of them. Like, I didn't make fun of my dad for Chivas losing, and I didn't poke fun that they were close to being the last in the relegation table at that time because UDG hadn't played. But, you know, I didn't even make fun of them because it was like, man, it breaks your heart. It's a damn shame, man, that the Chivas players and Chepo de la Torre, like, what are you doing? Keeping Cubo Torres and Fernando Arce, a player with tons of experience, you know, playing with the U20. Like, what good do they do scoring? What good is Cubo Torres scoring goals for the Sub-20? Like, who cares? You need him, and I understand. Like, maybe they didn't have a good preseason. Maybe because I don't even think he's clarified why they didn't play. You know, I don't think he's even clarified or said why he didn't include them in the roster, even, like, not in the roster, but in the squad. He didn't even take them to the bench, neither of them. So I don't know what the reason is, but when you're fighting to stay in Division 1, when you're fighting to keep from being relegated, you can't take those you know, luxuries of leaving two of your best players. Fernando Arce was probably the best Chivas player of last season. Some people may agree, some may not. Not many players were good for Chivas, believe me, last season. But Fernando Arce was okay, you know, he was up there. Cubo Torres, we all know what he can do. He's been scoring like crazy in the MLS. So you can't leave, you know, have the luxury and take it to leave these players out of your starting 11 and of the entire squad, you know, not even in the bench. Whatever, man. I don't understand them, but the Chivas, it's a disaster right now, and they gotta wake up and they gotta realize what they're fighting for. Forget about the title. Sure, you know, you can have it in the back of your head, but you gotta fight to live, man. And yeah, that's all I got to say on that topic. I rambled for more than what I wanted to. I ranted even about Chivas, you know. And as an America fan, some Chivas fans may not even want me talking about their team, or say that maybe I'm being a little too hard. I don't know, but you know, it's just it was just my opinion and what I observed. You know, the other three teams fighting, you know, like crazy to stay alive, and here you have, you know, Chivas. You see their players jogging, and you don't see the intensity. Like, that's the main difference that I see. You don't see the intensity in their players, and their declarations. The way they're speaking is like they're gonna fight for the title before the season even starts. Like, that shouldn't be your main goal. I understand. Eventually, it should be. First, focus on saving your ass. Then you can go ahead and win the title and fight for the title. But first, make sure you're gonna stay in Division 1. So anyways, man, yeah, I'm done now. Officially done. We got more stuff to talk about. And America, their debut against Club León, Matosas versus his old team. And it was good. It was good. As an America fan, I was satisfied, but not fully satisfied. You know, I was I guess pleased, but obviously there's tons of work to do. On both sides of the pitch, on offense, but especially, everyone knows this, especially on defense. The defense wasn't great, man. The defense wasn't great. You have a 2-0 victory 8 minutes into the game, and by different circumstances, like Moises Velasco's own goal, that was weird. That won't happen again in this season. Not like that. You know, that was a weird own goal. It was super unfortunate. I do think there might have been a foul on Gulit Peña. He pushed him from behind a little bit, but you know, they didn't call it. I don't really care. I'm not gonna cry about it. And you know, it could have been called a foul. Maybe not. It depends on the referee. But it wasn't called, and Moises Velasco scored a hell of a golazo, an own goal. So, you know, different circumstances got Club León to tie or to draw the game 2-2 before halftime. But America responded. In the second half, I thought America played a very, very good game. They pretty much took the ball from León in the second half, and they generated a bunch of opportunities. Benedetto got so close to scoring twice on 2 occasions. I remember the header, man. The header that William Yarbrough saved. What a save, man. Fantastic, spectacular save from William Yarbrough. And which was... he also had a 1-on-1 against William Yarbrough. I'm talking about Benedetto. That also was another win for William Yarbrough. So he blocked both chances that Benedetto had. But I liked Benedetto, man. Although he does need to work a little bit on his finishing. I saw him miss another easy goal in the friendly, the only preseason friendly that America had against Monterrey in Houston, Texas. I saw Benedetto also miss an easy goal that he should have put away. So he needs to work on his finishing a little bit. But overall, man, he had an assist. He played a great game. And the Uribe Peralta and Darío Benedetto duo is going to be scary. It's going to be a scary, scary thing for teams in the Liga MX. And the four-headed monster, Sambueza, Quintero, Peralta, Benedetto. I mean, that is going to be, four-headed monster. I said it. On offense, America is going to be a something to deal with, man. They're going to be a headache. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with. I don't want to exaggerate, but that's the way everything is looking to be, man. And now on defense, they do obviously got to improve a lot. Miguel Zamudio, the new left back, I'm sorry, the new left back for Club America. I thought he did things well, you know, nothing, I didn't see anything that I didn't like in him. Maybe a little bit more on offense. You know, we're used to Layun playing the left back position or the left wing back position at Club America and adding a lot on offense. But Miguel Zamudio, I've seen a couple of his videos when he played for Cruzeiro. There you go. I remember the name. Cruzeiro. I saw a couple of his videos on YouTube, and he scored a couple of goals. He has some offensive features to him. He can add something on offense, but it's just a matter of him adapting to the new league, to the new team, his new teammates and stuff like that. And I'm sure he's going to be a good player. But other than that, the midfield, man. The midfield, I didn't like how America didn't have possession of the ball. León took the ball from America, especially in the first half. But that's mainly because Moises Velasco was playing the center defensive mid position, and he just can't do the job by himself. Now, I do feel like Pellerano can do a better job, obviously, and he will be the starter. Pellerano was suspended. He couldn't play this match. He was suspended. I guess, I don't remember why, but I guess he got a red card the last, or maybe he got 5 yellow cards in the last game with Tijuana's from the last season. But he had a 1-match ban, so he will be starting the next match. And I think he's going to do a better job in the midfield. America is going to be able to recover the ball and have more possession. But they are going to need some help. They are going to need some help in the midfield, meaning that Sambuesa has to help, recover the ball. If Michael Arroyo is playing in the starting 11, he has to help. Quintero, same thing. So the midfielders, have to add something to recover the ball and help whoever the center defensive mid, which is going to be pretty much Pellerano for sure. So anyways, man, I thought, when Osvaldito Martinez was subbed into the game, I thought it added something to the team. Now, I've been an Osvaldito Martinez critic because I thought he just didn't do enough to earn that number 10 on his back. And I know it's just a number, but, after, players like Cuauhtemoc wore that number in Club America, number 10, what does it mean? That's usually the playmaker. That's usually the creator, like James Rodriguez, etc., etc. And I just didn't feel like Osvaldito, really deserved to be in America's starting 11. Now, for the bench, if he's gonna come in and help like he did in the second half, then I'm all for it. I'm all for Osvaldito Martinez being in Club America. Maybe he should give the number 10 to Darwin Quintero, maybe just a suggestion. But no, man, he did a good job, and it was a brilliant move from Gustavo Matosas to sub him on, and it definitely did help. It helped so much that he was the one with the assist to Darwin Quintero on the goal that turned things around for America and allowed them to retain the lead. So anyways, guys, that's all the time we have. I didn't cover everything I wanted to talk about in this, somewhat podcast, if you will, recording it while I'm driving. First time I've ever tried this, by the way. So let me know, give me some feedback if I should keep doing these, if you didn't mind the audio quality so much. Let me know in the comments down below. Leave a thumbs up to let me know that you actually didn't mind it too much and you would want me to continue with this. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Likes are greatly appreciated. Again, leave me your opinions in the comments down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, bros, and as always, que viva el fútbol.